How's everyone doing this evening? I got my beer.
Well, we just watched Fright Night, and sorry if we're talking too quiet. It's just that it's late at night right now. Neighbors, people sleeping, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, wait, who'd you get to sign this? Actually, talk about that.
I actually got this DVD signed by Chris Sarandon, who played Jerry Dandridge in Fright Night, and also William Ragsdale, who played Charlie Brewster in the original Fright Night. I met them at Days of the Dead in Chicago in November of 2012, and it was my first convention ever, and it was a very fun experience for me.
Be honest, were they nice or not?
They were actually very nice. They both actually had great advice for me for when I want to get involved in more film stuff or something in the future, and they were very nice about it. They weren't dicks or assholes, so that was always a good plus.
Like Gary Busey?
Like Gary Busey. Yeah, that's a whole nother story, but Gary Busey is kind of an asshole.
Okay, personally, I've never seen this movie, and I voted to watch it because I see it on shelves everywhere. You know, like our local exclusive company. Um,
Any kind of half-price books or mega media exchange, basically.
yeah, Best Buy, you name it, anything, it's always there. So I decided, I was like, let's watch this. We watched it, and going into it, I already knew there was a remake. So while we were watching it, I was like, kind of surprised now, like that they chose to remake this. Like, honestly, out of everything, I think would get a remake would be like, I don't know, It, Phantasm, which I don't want remakes of those, but I don't want remakes of what I just mentioned. Well, I wouldn't mind It, but I mean, this one, I mean, it's a good film. Did I think it was amazing? Not exactly. In the vampire genre, it's pretty damn good.
A lot of things they kind of modernized for the 80s that go along with the original Dracula story.
Well, it's definitely an 80s like film. It's
Oh,
definitely,
yeah.
if you like your 80s horror, you have to see Fright Night.
I mean, come on.
I think it's a have to.
They got a nightclub scene that has like 480 songs playing, and they're just like, hell yeah, I'm going to put this on my next mix and put it on my iPod.
And sadly, none of the songs were Power of the Night by Critters, from Critters.
By Johnny Steele.
But as for characters in here, though, they're pretty likable, some better than others. Obviously, Chris Sarandon.
As you know him from Child's Play and
yeah.
The Sentinel, The Princess Bride, even.
I like him the best in here so far. I almost said breast. The best in here so
Brings
far.
out the breast in him.
And as for the others, I mean, I like the main character, Charlie. He's pretty sweet. And then what's his name? Peter Vincent?
Peter Vincent, Roddy McDowell, God rest his soul.
I almost said Vincent Price.
I'm just, this is for my homie, I'm not really going to spill it on Tom's floor, but...
I'll kill you. We'll start a new horror movie. Real life. But they're likable. I don't know about you. There were no characters that I was annoyed of.
Well, you had Marcy Darcy. Sometimes she can get pretty annoying.
I wouldn't mind seeing a horror movie with Al Bundy.
Al Bundy would kill his whole family. That's the horror movie.
Married with children.
Marcy Darcy comes over next door. I'm gonna fucking kill you too.
What was that kid's name with the hilarious laugh in here?
Evil Ed.
Evil Ed.
Stephen Jeffries.
He has seen Fright Night too. I have not, but I heard not heard. What am I saying? I think he should have been in the sequel. If anything, that would have been pretty cool to start off in, because he's really weird, a really weird character, but he makes it work, and he's hilarious. Just
yeah, but as far as this is a great movie, like horror movie of the 80s. The sequel, I know a lot of people did not like it, but the sequel, in my opinion, is very good. And pretty much, in my opinion, if you like the first one, you're going to like the second one. I don't know why people did not like the second one, but the second one is very, very good. And even had more things that, like, come on, it had Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite playing a werewolf. How can you go wrong with that?
Was there ever a Fright Night 3?
There was not a Fright Night 3.
Oh, okay.
They kind of closed it off at the end of the second one
Okay.
for no more sequels. But it was very good.
Well, that's good because a lot of horror movies, especially nowadays, a lot of horror movies either end with everyone dying or a cliffhanger for a sequel that never happens, and most of the time leaves fans wanting more.
And
it
they
never
never get
happens. Like 28 months later, never happened.
Yeah, when are they gonna do? 28 months later, 28 years later,
Yeah,
28 decades later.
Freddy vs. Jason 2 never happened.
Yeah, add Pinhead to the mix.
Yeah,
or Leatherface versus Michael Myers.
So I'm curious to see Fright Night 2, knowing that it closes it off and stuff. So, will I watch the remake? Yes, probably. Because I, honestly, when I watch a series, I have to see everything of it, no matter what.
I watched the first 20 minutes of the remake. What did I do? I took the remote, click, change the channel. That's what I did.
So there was nothing at all within that 20 minutes you were like, this is cool.
Nope.
No, not at all.
Like, this is already worse than the original.
Well, I'm going into it with low standards, so...
That's a good way to look at it.
As for this, out of 5 being the best, what would I give this? I would give it probably a good, a very strong, 3 when it comes to all horror movies. If we're talking about just vampire films, I'm gonna have to give it, maybe a good solid 4. Maybe 4.5 actually,
yes.
right in there, because it's very unique for a vampire film, and because it's not it's not too gory, but it's not too less, and the special effects are awesome. Good practical effects, obviously. I mean, it was before the 90s came around and CGI was starting to be toyed with a lot more. I believe it was toyed with in the 80s, once or twice somehow. I forgot movies.
There's even some movies in the 80s that have better effects than films that are made nowadays.
That is very true. I'm actually trying to think of a film of today that's
I can think of at least 2 films off the top of my head that have better effects than films made today. Number 1, American Werewolf in London.
Yes, true.
Number 2, John Carpenter's The Thing. That kind of takes the cake.
Oh, Evil Ed. Is that his name? I keep forgetting.
Evil Ed.
Evil Ed.
Evil Ed.
When he transforms back to human in the end. Sorry for spoilers. I definitely love the effects there with the werewolf, where he's a werewolf and he's changing back,
half his face is werewolf, the other half is his real face.
It really sucks that we'll never get effects like that anymore. Really, effects of today are still really good. When you have a huge budget, especially if we're talking CGI, what's one that had some CGI in it? That's a horror film. A lot of people hated on World War Z, but the effects were pretty damn good in there for CGI. Godzilla, which obviously isn't a horror film.
Science fiction.
Yeah.
Kind of runs in that category.
But still, it would be nice to see a good werewolf changing scene nowadays, but now it's just all CGI, and it's kind of
the Wolfman that came out with Benicio del Toro a few years back, that had CGI. I mean, it wasn't a bad movie, but still... nothing like the original things.
Yeah, I have yet to see that, actually, but...
It had its moments.
I'll have to see it, but... Other than that, I would say... If you're a horror fan at all, check it out. If you have a date with the lady, or the guy, whatever works, show them this. It's definitely... It's a good date movie.
Or if you're on a date with 2 women. If you're a guy with 2 women, that also works.
Or a guy with 2 cats.
Basically. Or if you're just a little boy and his dog.
What else can we say about this? I think we just about covered it all.
The music rocks.
The music? Okay, Joe here, huge fan of his 80s, especially 80s films, obviously, and the music within it. Yes, the music score is definitely fitting. Kind of weird at times, but it's still fitting the movie, because it's not exactly a super serious movie. It's still got its strange moments, so the music is working 100% with it.
And it's also very great to drink beer to. This guy doesn't drink.
I don't drink, but...
But I do, because I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and I love to drink.
It's good to eat pomegranates, too. I did that.
That is true. You ate your pomegranate and it flew everywhere.
It did. It tasted good. Some of it's still on the floor. But, yeah, watch it. What do you give it? Did you give it a score?
I would have had to given it a 4 out of 5.
4 out of 5.
4 out of 5 definitely for me.
There you go.
It's kind of rare when you get 5 out of 5s. 4 out of 5 definitely. That's what I would give
And
most of my horror films.
sometimes they're stronger than others. I can think of films where I would give it like a weak 3, but then some I would give like a strong 3.
I can think of many. Yeah, I can think of many movies I could give like a 0.5 out of 5, basically.
I can think of 0 ones or negatives.
Right, exactly.
Negatives.
Black Devil Dolls 1.
Tower of Blood. Negative infinity.
Has anyone seen Evil Bong?
Or Ginger Dead Man versus Evil Bong.
Those can't be that great. I haven't even tried to see those. But.
Anyways, we're gonna be posting this everywhere, obviously YouTube and stuff. But this is one of our first reviews. We're just talking to the camera. We don't expect any like millions of clips or anything like that. And just comment to us, message us, and we'll literally talk about anything about this: horror films, games, comics, books, you name it. We'll talk to you. We're just two guys that are nerdy about our horror films and films in general, and we just
any kind of horror,
literally any, and we watch it, we talk about it, and we have fun with them. And this is just what we're doing. We're just filming ourselves doing this because it's awesome, and we want to bond with our fellow horror fans or fans of all this stuff in general.
And the Midwest Horror Society will get big. I guarantee it.